Hello, how's everybody doing? This is Pierre. I'm doing this one is gonna be on being an ex-Jehovah Witness. And today I want to talk about the atrophy of it's the atrophy of emotions, okay? I think I'm going to call it something like that. It's hard for me to explain it, but I'm going to tell you how it works. And I noticed it with the ex-Jehovah Witnesses, but okay, I know it's with I'm with the ex-Jehovah Witnesses. I've been talking to Mormons. I've been talking to them for so long, not to find out any information, but they talk to me and I talk to them. I like talking to them, and I talk about them because it's not there with them. They don't have that a trophy of emotions that I've seen. Okay, so I know it's the only thing I'm saying that for is that I know it's with the ex-Jehovah Witnesses. I think that it's I don't say it's bad. I think it's, how can I say, like, a survival technique, okay? It's definitely a survival technique. Okay, now let me tell you what happened to me after I left when I left the Jehovah Witnesses. I mean, I went through a lot of things, like everybody else, you know? And the reason why I mention that, because then you can understand what happened, because something happened to me today. First, I'm going to tell you what happened to me so that you can kind of understand it, and then I'll tell you about what happened, recently. So, I was, this is when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses, excuse me. I was, so many bad things that happened. I mean, and you know how you just do it, okay? You have to do this. You just do it because I heard it on so many of the YouTubes. You just do it. I mean, one guy said he had to go here. He didn't have a place to stay. He did this. He did that. And you just do it. You know what I mean? And it's different than like deep pain. I mean, deep pain is something that you can't touch. It's just there. You don't have a pain, but you know it's there, okay? This is a little bit deeper too, in the fact that the emotions that you always use, like when you're with your family, with your friends, you don't have it anymore. I mean, so there's different ways that people approach it. But I think if you're mentally stable, I mean, you're normal. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of things happen to us, and like with the celebrities and all these people who get on the YouTubes, the rich people or the celebrities, and they get on the YouTube and they start crying and stuff like that. Oh, this happened to me, and this happened to me. I mean, you know what? And I every time I see him, I go like, you know what? I mean, like, it happens all the time. I mean, the thing about it is that if you're normal, which thank God, hopefully I'm normal. I feel like I'm normal. What I'm saying is you're not mentally ill. If you're not mentally ill, you just have to do it. I mean, like, all these things that happen to the ex-Jehovah Witnesses, I'm sure a great some of us just take it, you know what I mean? And just do it. There's nobody to cry to. There's no people to listen. The last person I heard was this Lady Gaga, okay? And she's like, he did this to me. I mean, I'm not saying anything about it, but what I'm trying to say is it happens all the time. I mean, it's like we don't have a platform. We can't go in front of our fan members and say, oh, this happened to me and start crying. It doesn't work that way out here. I mean, they have people to cry to, and then they do all these weird things like they're in so much pain and stuff. But they have a place to live. They have their family. They got, I mean, I'm not saying money is everything, but they can get some high paid, which is good, therapy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So what I'm talking about is when you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness, you don't have all of that. And you have to just like deal with it. And if you're normal, you're able to deal with it. If you're not normal, what I'm not saying not normal, if you have a mental illness, then you can't handle it. But what I'm saying is most ex-Jehovah's Witnesses can handle it from what I see. So what happens, I'm saying what happens when, I mean, what process happens for us to be able to handle it? So it's a survival technique I think the mind has, because your emotions, and I use new terms because there's none that I know. I say the emotions atrophy. Now I can tell you what happened to me. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, a lot to handle. I think what made me strong, and everybody has something to make them strong, was that I never saw a future in the Jehovah's Witnesses with me. And I always liked like entertainment, and I always liked doing something. So my mind was occupied somewhere else. So that's probably what helped me in the long run. But what happened was I'm just saying there was a lot of things that went wrong, and I know most ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, because I even see them. I don't look at all my messages because I don't if I get paid from the if I get to a point to where I'm paid from the YouTubes, I can get somebody to help me with the messages, because I really do care about them, but I'm not able to. This is like my third job, okay? So anyway, but I hear it in my messages all the time about really bad stories. I mean, some of them are badder than what. If you had family, I mean, I know my messages, I mean, the things that happened to me was bad, but I mean, I've heard worse with some of the things that I read, really. So what happens? This is where I'm getting to. It's the mind has a protection thing, because I think the emotions atrophy. I'm just calling it something. I think they're atrophy. Now I'm going to tell you what made me come up to that thing. I remember, like, okay, I was telling you, a lot of people know my videos, and there was around the time when I explained it in my panic attack. I got someone on panic attack. I think it's like 3 videos. That explains what happened to me, okay? Some of the things that happened to me, but I didn't explain it as far as an ex-Jehovah's Witness. Now, with all the things I've learned from doing the YouTubes, I can explain it. So if you go back and see the panic attacks, I address what I'm telling you right now, but back then I didn't know what it was. I couldn't relate to it. Now I can zero in on it. And what I'm saying is that in that state that I was in when I told you those stories, I remember saying that I went to the doctor because I couldn't breathe, okay? Like there would be times that I couldn't breathe, and I think it's a defense mechanism that was happening to me. So I went to the doctor, okay? And I'm sorry, I was on Medicaid, or because like when you're really poor, I mean, I had to get I was on welfare, they used to call it. I don't know if they call it there now, but it was in New York City. So anyway, I'm sorry, I was on welfare. Okay, I was. Okay, so anyway, I went to the doctor, and I knew something was wrong with me. But the doctor, I would sit on, I don't know why, but it wasn't anybody there. In New York, it's crowded. But I was in, Jamaica. It was like in the Jamaica area. I don't know if people are familiar with New York is really big. New York City is really big. So I was in like the Jamaica area. And I went to the doctor, and I sat on this, the gurney or whatever they call it, in the office. And the doctor came in, and I noticed he touched me. And when he touched me, there was something I felt, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know my emotions had atrophied, okay? That's what I'm going to call it. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And partly what was wrong with me, there was no human contact. I mean, like when you're with your family, you talk to them on the phone, you don't realize a lot of benefits you have when you have your family and your friends. Just talking to their friends on the phone, just talking to your parents. Every time your parent says, okay, I hope everything's all right, just when they worry about you, all those things are very beneficial for your life that we don't take for granted at ex-Jehovah Witness, but everybody else takes for granted. So I took them for granted when I was a Jehovah Witness, but I didn't have them. It was a long time. Maybe it was, how many years? Maybe about 3 years I was out, 3 or 4 years. And then I was by myself. I didn't even know where my brother, I didn't contact my half brother, who's actually an ex-Jehovah Witness also. So I was pretty much by myself. But I noticed when the doctor touched me that I felt something. And it's funny because my emotions had atrophied. I couldn't relate to it. I didn't know it felt good. I didn't know it felt like a connection with somebody. I didn't know what it was. Even when he asked me questions, I didn't understand them. But he was being nice. And you know what? I didn't even know he was being nice. But I said to myself, what is that? So then he says, well, I don't see anything wrong with you. So I said, okay. So then I was leaving the office, and the lady told me, she goes, feel better. And I was like, feel better? What does that mean? I'm telling you the honest truth. So I'm just saying that my mind my emotions had, to protect itself, I think it atrophied. It's like, it just took all of the times that I had relationship with my friends, with my family. It took them all, and it just like hit them. Okay, so I never felt I missed my mother. I never felt I missed my sister. I never felt I missed my friends, because my mind, and this is, I think, a protection, is that thank God I'm not a bad person, because I don't know what else it would do. It would do something probably different. But so anyway, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't know what she said. So here I'm leaving. Like I said, the first thing I felt was when he touched me some kind of way. I mean, not, just regular touching, like, to check me out. And I noticed every time he touched me, it was strange. I mean, it was like something that I didn't know, like I was from outer space. But the only thing I noticed is that it was something refreshing, okay? But I couldn't think of it as refreshing then. I just felt a refreshing feeling, but I didn't know what was happening. I mean, I didn't even notice it until later on. So anyway, when I left the office, like I said, the lady said, feel good. And I was like, what does that mean? What did she say? Feel good. And I promise you, I didn't even know, feel better or feel better. And I said, what does that mean? Because it is out of grammar. I mean, it's not a grammatically correct sentence, maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I don't hear it all the time. Not like, I hope you feel better. It was just like, feel better. And it was like a command, or I don't know what it was, but I had forgotten that thing, someone telling me that, okay? I mean, I didn't feel sorry for myself and stuff like that. I'm just telling you what happened mentally, what happened to my emotions. So anyway, but the doctor did say one thing. He said, maybe you have asthma, because I couldn't breathe. So he gave me medication for asthma medication. It was good. I know why. So a lot of times they take take what do you call it? Your asthma. A lot of people don't have asthma. They always say, you can't breathe. Take this medication. Back then. So anyway, so I took the prescription, and I told you when I left, and I remember walking down the street, and I was saying, what did she say? I mean, she said, feel better. What is that? What does that mean? I didn't know. I didn't have any of those feelings. I couldn't believe it. So I got to my apartment, and then the next day I went to go get the prescription. And when I got the prescription, it was for, like asthma. And he gave me the asthma medication. It was very good. It was like cigarettes or something. I don't know what it was. So anyway, I got the asthma, and I'm not into drugs, but I don't know what they had, but it was good. So anyway, I got I don't do drugs at all, but I'm just saying it was very, very good. So I got the asthma medication, and when he gave me the added medication, he goes, feel better. And I go, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I didn't know what it meant, okay? And so that's what I'm trying to say is, after a while, when I got back into being a normal person, building up things after you build up things to be a normal human being, I found out. I said to myself, "Wow, I didn't know what feel better meant," and it was because. Then I said, and I was going over with myself, and I was going, so my emotions had actually atrophied to where all those things, instead of me missing them, instead of me suffering, oh, nobody tells me this, or nobody tells me that, or nobody tells me that, instead of that, my mind took them and just like hid them from me, or I don't know, callous them or something like that. And I hear it in a lot of speech as far as the ex-jehovah Witnesses. I can hear it, even when they're right. You know what I mean? I mean, they can say really, really terrible things that happen to themselves callously. I mean, I can say things that happen to me and it doesn't affect me at all. And they say things that really bad that happen to them, if you notice, the ex-jehovah Witnesses, without even batting an eye. Oh, I had to do this. Or I had to do this. It's because I'm saying I'm almost sure because I see it in the way they talk. And most people wouldn't be able to do that, except for I don't know what they do with our minds, but most people would not be able to do it without crying. And like I said to celebrities, he did this to me. I was in the office and he did this. And they just like can't handle it. Even Oprah Winfrey, she's hardcore. She's just acting all the time. But what I'm trying to say is we take it and we just deal with it. It's like, and we could say it. We can actually write it down. But believe it or not, normal people, evidently we're not as normal because a lot of people can't even say it. They can't even express what happened to them. But we can detail what happened to us, no matter how bad it is, because we callous it. I don't know what things they did to us, exactly everything, but now we're learning about it because we're able to speak more deeply about it. So I'm going to call this one, being an ex-Jehovah Witness, the atrophy of the emotions. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what happened to me recently. So anyway, I had to do something. It was business. I'm not going to explain it in detail, but everything worked out. And I was like, when I got a call from these people, and they go, "Oh, everything's all right, such and such, everything is going to work," and I didn't hear them, okay, because I don't hear people fake things. Sometimes at work they say things really nice, but they don't. I can't. That's another thing. We can tell when you say something and you really mean it. An ex-Jehovah Witness it will go all the way in and tell you, yes, this person is really being nice, okay? And another thing, ex-Jehovah's Witness is not bad because ex-Jehovah's Witness can actually express themselves without any like fear or any like without like any without, how can I say, I know that the feelings are really deep, but if we like something or we want to express thank you to somebody, we can go really deep and just thank the person, whereas a lot of people can't do that. So anyway, just these people had, I mean, said, I don't want to, I'm just making it general, that everything, you know, everything is fine, everything is great. And you know, I couldn't hear it. And I noticed that because now we're in such a deep understanding in this on my station that I can talk about really, really deep things, and it's gonna keep getting deeper. I don't care. I love it. So anyway, the only reason why I was able to tell is because we do these YouTubes. We're able to see things that we didn't see when I first started the YouTubes. So anyway, it was like there was like, it was like really, really, I had to think, I go, how come I can't hear this? And you know I can hear, but when they would say something like really nice or something that happened that, okay, this is gonna be good and this is gonna be good, I couldn't hear it. And I noticed, because then after that I go, how come I can't hear it? Not, I mean, I could hear, but it didn't, you know, it didn't hook to nice things, you know. That's another thing. So it's all those things are like really, really deep. And for me to, when I hear like, oh, this is gonna be good, and this, you don't worry about this and don't worry about this, it just like, it's a long time before I actually connect with it. So your feelings do atrophy, okay? Because it happened to me, I didn't notice it, like I said, because of this station. Now I get to notice things I never noticed. If it wasn't for the station, it would just go by as, you know, no big deal. But that's what happened. So that's another part of being an ex-Jehovah's Witness. It's not that we want to change it, because it is a device to help us with the deep pain, I think. Because it's like hidden away. And then maybe when we get into a situation, we could bring it out. Now I can understand people in relationships, when something goes wrong with them, it's hard for them to it's not that it's hard for them to become themselves, but it's so deep it has to travel. And a lot of people think you can travel here, you can travel there, yeah, physically, but you also sometimes have to travel in your emotions, and sometimes they have to be fixed. But the nice thing about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, the only thing you have to do is you need a little bit of time for it to travel. You know what I mean? And once you get things in a nice situation, you could bring them out. You know what I mean? Because after a while, like I said, once I was in a situation to where things were all right, you know, they came, you know, then it wasn't like any pain or any big deal. Then I could just see, they could come back up, you know, like, oh, this is this way, this is this way, this is this way. But I'm just talking about, the reason why I say it's just normal for normal people, because, you know, some people they're not that strong in their mind. Some ex-Jehovah's probably don't make it. But most of the time, like I said, a lot of entertainers don't have that mechanism. I mean, from what not all of them, but the ones that cry, like, you know, like, this happened to me and this happened to me, you know, that means that person can't handle it. And the last thing I'm going to say is this. My mother told me about that, because I remember I used to love to work when I was young. I loved to work. And I had 2 jobs, and I came, and I remember, right, just like right now, and I explained to her, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to do this. And she looked at me, she goes, so that means you can't handle it? And I go, yes, I can handle it. She goes, well then, why are you getting upset? Because if you're getting upset and you're throwing this and doing that and talking about it like this and this and that, that means you can't handle it. And I go, oh. And I thought about it, and that's true. So I'm glad, thank God, I can handle these things. So thank you very much. This is being an ex-Jehovah Witness. Thank you very much. Talk to you next time. Bye.